are here in the Appalachian Mountains, not far from Springer Mountain. Springer Mountain is where a good friend of mine decided he had an audacious goal, that him and a buddy were going to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail is 2,190 miles, so that is really an audacious plan. But their hopes and dreams after finishing college was that they were going to take a 6-month sabbatical before they started work. They were going to hike the trail and they would finish, they started in May and they would finish in October. They would be home in November. Now, this plan was well laid out. They thought about it, they planned for it, they looked at maps, they talked to people. They bought an incredible amount of gear to go on this trip. They bought all the best camping and hiking gear that you can find. In their plan, they thought this was the perfect plan. They started their trek and their journey, and they had high hopes that one day they would sit around with their kids and be able to share stories of the trail. Now, their trip got cut short. In fact, 3 days into their trip, what they realized is that their packs that weighed in at around 30 pounds were just far too heavy for them to carry. Up the steep slopes and the terrain, the wilderness was just a little bit rough for them, and they had to make a hard decision. And the decision was this, that they would take off their packs and they would hike down to the nearest town. And when they got down to the nearest town, what they did is they shipped over half of their gear back. See, they realized that the load that they were carrying, the burden, was just too much. So they decided to lighten the load. Now, lightening the load made all the difference in the world for them. They were able to traverse and go over steep places that they couldn't climb with their backpacks. Going through water, going through all of these places, it just made their trip so much easier. And a lot of the stuff that they shipped back was stuff that they could probably use on the trip, but wasn't essentials. And those things that they shipped back, they found that made all the difference in the world. For us in our life, and a lot of times we carry things that we weren't meant to carry. We carry burdens, we carry anxieties, we carry stress, we carry all the weight of the world on our shoulders that we were never really meant to carry. Now for us, unpacking these things is essential in our quest to follow God's plan and His path that He has for us. It gives us joy and hope. We don't feel weighed down and overloaded. We feel the joy in His grace as we walk the path and the plan that He has for us, because we're not carrying something that we don't have to carry. Listen to what it says in 1 Peter. 1 Peter 5 says this, "Humble yourself, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxieties on Him, because He cares for you." Then he says, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Resist him, stand firm in the faith, because you know that the family of believers throughout the world is undergoing the same kind of suffering." It starts by saying, humble yourself. For me, humbling myself and taking off the load is really tough sometimes, because you feel like you got to carry all the weight yourself. That if you don't carry the weight, somebody else has to, and you just feel like, hey, this is my job, this is my responsibility to carry these things, but we were not made to carry all the weight. So it takes humbling ourselves to take the pack off, to unload the pack, and to give some things to God. And then I think it's very important, he says, cast all your anxieties on me. A lot of times that's what we carry, don't we? We carry the weight of the world, we carry stress, we carry anxiety, and he says, give that stuff to me, because you weren't made to carry this. I will give you rest, and I will take those burdens from you. So in relieving ourselves, but I think it's really important, the very next verse that follows, it says, the devil is prowling around. He's waiting to devour someone. I think it's really important to realize that that is one way that the devil gets a foothold. He gets in our backpacks. He weighs us down with the cares and the worries of the world that we weren't meant to carry. He tries to get us to do it on our own. But when we cast our anxieties, our fears, and we give them over to God, He easily takes up our burdens, carries the load, and gives us incredible grace to be able to not just walk on the path, not just to complete the journey, to have a joy as we go throughout the journey in His plan, on His path. What He has in store for us is just so much better. So we have to take off the packs. We have to unpack the baggage that we're carrying and give it to Him. Listen to what it says in Matthew 11, 28 through 30. It says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Jesus was talking about the yoke and the burdens of this world, that He comes to take those burdens and that yoke from us. It's kind of important to realize that when Jesus was talking, the people felt this incredible weight on them that the Pharisees had put on them. There was over 600 laws just for the Sabbath regarding work and what you can and can't do. And it was impossible to live up to these standards. Sometimes in this world, we try to live up to a standard that we just can't live up to. You see, but the great thing is that Jesus came and He lived up to that standard. He lived a perfect life. He takes all of those cares and those worries that we try to carry, the burden of being good enough, the burden that we carry that we just aren't good enough and that we can never ever add up. And He says, my grace is sufficient for you. I have carried that burden. My death on the cross, my perfect blood that was shed for you, takes all those anxieties away. And when you cast those on me, when you trust me with that load that you were never meant to carry, I graciously and lovingly will carry it for you. My path and my plan for you is perfect. I care for you, I love you, and I want you to find rest in me. You see, Jesus gives us rest. He gives us peace. He's our sanctuary. His plan and His way is so perfect. You were never meant to carry the load. You were never meant to carry the burden. We cast it upon Him and we trust Him because He is God and He is good. Your path and your plan that He has for you is perfect. Take off the load, spend some time with some other people, and cast your anxieties upon Him. It will be good for you to just kind of unpack some things in your group tonight. Spend some time in your discussion questions with some of the things that you'd like to give over to Him and trust Him because He will take that load from you.